Yo, what's up, guys? I am so excited. I'm really excited for this game. Dude, our first game 7 of the NBA playoffs. Has the line moved or nah, it hasn't really budged. Nuggets are very, very, very slight favorites. But I mean, the game is basically a coin flip. Again, this is what's amazing. I know I've said it a million times. But this is what's really nice about these peer-to-peer betting exchanges is especially for like big events, NBA playoffs, super low juice. So right now on Novig, you can either get, 1 cent of fucking juice. You can get the Clippers plus 113 or the Nuggets minus 114. Pretty crazy if you ask me. But without further ado, I want to get in some bets. Bro is back. Yo, what's up, Evan? Hey, Alex. What's up, Red? I saw you benching 425 at the gym. That was insane. Yeah, it was a light day. But anyways, let's get into some bets. Let's see if there's anything. I just figured we might as well do a quick stream, right? Might as well do a quick stream. So what book do we want to start out on? PrizePicks has some discounts. I already used them, but maybe we'll do an Underdog fantasy play. Why not? Underdog actually has, once it loads, I think maybe not. Maybe I already used them. They have a bunch of like 40% profit boosts, which is pretty nice. But let's see. Let's see what we can get in. Fuck, dude. Okay. So let's get into it. So let's go to Underdog Fantasy. I'm going to build some Underdog slips, PrizePicks. I mean, whatever book people want to look at. Oh, shit. So let's do an Underdog slip. So the first play, what do we think about Kawhi under 12.5 RAs? I mean, it's up to you, It has solid value. You can see every book. Right? FanDuel, Bovada, every data point you have in the market, peer-to-peer betting exchanges like Novig, they all have his under heavily favored. But I'm going to skip over that play. I'm actually going to take if you want to run it, run it. I'm going to take Christian Braun, Alex Monahan, where are the hoes at? Let's go Braves. Let's fucking go Braves. Anyways, Christian Braun, under 11.5 points. You can see FanDuel is much more aggressive on this under. It kind of seems like these books have drifted. The under keeps getting more and more favored. And again, on Underdog Fantasy, fixed payout sportsbook. You take his over, you take his under, you're going to get the same payout. But let's keep rolling. And again, if you haven't already used it, they have some nice promos. Oh, baby. So here's a play for our second. Dude, I think Rockets, everyone I think agrees. We all agree Steph Curry's time is over. It's time for Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet. I think we all agree the Rockets are going to win the game. But let me just get in a slip real quick. And then we can move on to whatever other book people want to look at. Oh, shit. So here's what I'm going with. If you haven't used the promo, you can run the promo. 3-pick entry on Underdog. They limit me to a max bet size of $25, which is a little annoying. But again, what's really nice about esports, there's just so many games, a lot of line discrepancies. Every other book has this guy's line at 14.5. So this is solid. Yo, bro, I lost my streak yesterday on pick 9. Damn, I'm sorry, Lewis. Bro said it's Jalen Green time. He doesn't know ball. It's Fred VanVleet time. Jalen Green has been ass all series. Chill, bro. Okay. Maybe it's not Jalen Green time. It's the Rockets time, though. It's not Steph Curry's time. Clippers, is it an over or an under? I'm on the first quarter over. I'm on the over. I'm on the first quarter over. Again, I got it locked in on Rebet. Where is this? Let me refresh this. Rebet's a sweepstakes book. Anyways, you guys have had plenty of time to get this locked in. If you're on YouTube, Twitch has a little bit less of a delay. Dude, what are you doing, man? Cannot detect my location. Okay, so let me refresh this. What am I on? I'm on the over 50.5 first quarter points. I mean, that was just ridiculous value on Rebet. You can actually see this happens all the time on Rebet. I lock in a super sharp pick and they're giving me a positive cash out. So like I could just take a risk-free 11.16 and profit. I bet 1,000. Could just cash it out, take the risk-free profit, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And let's get this locked in. So here's our first play, 6x payout. Every pick is solid. Every pick has an edge. I'm a big believer in data. And if you look at Fred VanVleet, so this is in the Rockets game. Where's FanDuel? You know, you can see every other book. I mean, like FanDuel, even if you don't use FanDuel, you know, it's a $40 billion company. You want to put some weight into their odds. They have VanVleet's line lower at 25.5, and they have the under favored or the under juiced. It's a game 7, got to be an over game. They're going to go crazy today. Marlins grand slam walk-off. Anyways, here's the play. Wait, did I get it locked in? Yeah, I did get it locked in. I did get it locked in. Oh shit. Yo, boys. Oh my gosh. Get this locked in on FanDuel as soon as humanly possible. Cody Sandigan versus Davidson Figueredo. Whatever his name is. Look at this. Look at this. Plus 170 here. Right? This is locked. Let's check out the line movement chart. So you can see FanDuel is just like a little stale. All these other books have ripped. Did they just move the line to plus 182? No, they didn't. So it was a crossed market with no vig. But you can see it's a locked market with Circa. Right? You can get the over at minus 170 or the under at plus 170. So there's no hold between the books. Circa is actually one of the sharpest books for UFC. So you definitely want to put some weight into their odds. But long story short, I hit the under. Plus 170. Under 4.5 rounds. This is a fight. I like it. Rebet, you can take Jamal Murray under 6.5 assists. So someone's asking for rebet value. Anyways, what do we like, boys? What do we like? I'm thinking Moses Moody over 3.5 rebounds. Anyways, let's see what else there is. There's not a ton of value. I obviously won't keep this stream super long. But let's see. I'm going to pull up FanDuel, Fliff, kind of the usual suspects. FanDuel, Fliff, Rebet. And let's get some bets locked in. Let's see where the value is. I mean, there's millions of odds across these books. Or let me get rid of FanDuel for a sec. So again, I just hit the under in the Sandigan fight. But what I want to do, I just bet the Braves, right, in that parlay. It seems like they over-adjusted a bit. I'm not going to take it, but if you wanted to, you could run the Dodgers plus 1. It looks like they over-adjusted maybe a little bit too much. But anyways, not much on Rebet right now. I see some people asking about Rebet. Let's check PrizePicks. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Yo, so we already took, I mean, PrizePicks had a discount on Kawhi. PrizePicks had a discount on Kawhi. I think they were discounting him to 18.5. But it's actually pretty solid value if you want to middle this. What did they discount him to? No, they discounted Kawhi to 21.5, which obviously is a no-brainer. A 4-point discount and you're getting the same, you know, payout. But fuck it, I'm going to middle it. So the ideal situation, right, a middle, is Kawhi ideally has 22 to 25 points which is actually more likely than you probably think. I mean, he's not going to score 50 points. He's not going to score 0 points. So you can actually see, like, where is he? His over 21.5 points is a minus 235 favorite. His under 25.5 is a minus 138 favorite. So basically, the market is implying there's approximately a... So the market's basically saying there's a 21% chance Kawhi ends between 22 and 25 points. If you just like look at the difference in the odds, right? So I think this is solid. I'll spin the dice. I'll take the 21.5% chance. But anyways, let's finish the rest of this slip. This is taking a little too long. So there's some UFC value. Let's get it. And obviously, if you don't like the Kawhi under or you haven't used the discount, I don't know what to tell you. Use the discount. So I'm going to run Tate under 2.5 takedowns. We have some MLB value on Luis Castillo. This game starts soon. I'm trying to move quick. I know nobody's really gonna wanna be on this stream once the game starts. Do PrizePicks, bro. J Chip request. We're doing PrizePicks. It's literally what we're talking about right now. But let's see what else we got. Oh, shit. So we have Moody under 12.5 points plus. Shit. Dude, I hate when PrizePicks does that. Anyways, sorry. So now FanDuel adjusted this line down to plus 162. Again, it was plus 170. It's a crossed market with no vig if you wanted to arb this, but shit, man, I got to move faster. So we had Kawhi under in points. Again, this game starts soon. Do they actually? No, they already bumped Moody's line. Let's go to MMA. It was Tate under. We're fading Luis Castillo. That's beautiful. Fuck yeah. So we're fading Castillo. Under in fantasy score. Link it, please. Link, please, at the Derby. You're at the Derby? That's crazy. Anyways, give me 1 sec. I promise I'm going to finish this in like 14 seconds. Oh, baby. Here we go. Moody under in RAs. I mean, it's a low line, 4.5. But it's solid. And then again, I mean, a little annoying because the game's a bit away. But this play on Jaylen Brown is actually pretty solid. It's also been up for a while. Under 9.5 RAs. Yo, what do we think? Who's fucking up this slip? And then again, if you took the Kawhi discount, hopefully he has 22 to 25 points. 4-point band. Can somebody put the link in the chat? Again, I can't share links. Oh, shit, babe. This is all unders, boys. All unders. Kawhi under. Again, I'm middling the discount. I think yeah. Dude, PrizePicks kind of shitty discount. I mean, only 4 points, but whatever. Still solid. Thank you, Vinny Curry. Yo, link is in the chat. A few people posted it. Better has a 1-point deal on Jokic. Man, I no longer get promos, unfortunately, on Better, but I did give out a Better slip earlier. We can actually see real quick, is there any value on Better? Let's see. Let's check it out. So, honestly, best play on Better if you're looking for something to pair with the discount. I'm not actually sure. Actually, let's see. It was Moses Moody under 12.5 points plus rebounds. Dabble. So you can see like Underdog, every other DFS site, Underdog, Dabble, they all have the line lower, and most of these books have his line 10.5, 11.5 on PrizePicks. So you could run Moody under 12 PRs, points plus rebounds. But what I wanted to do is, let's think about this UFC bet. Alex, are you Mexican? No, I'm not. Why do people keep asking me if I'm Mexican? Alex, I have a 20x better slip hinging on Daniel Rodriguez under 80.5 significant strikes. I can hedge middle on Hard Rock. Would you take the middle? I'm thinking. Yeah, I'd probably take that middle. Cantillo, Alexis. But anyways, this is no vig. So you kind of have two options because, again, this was a crossed market. I could arbit, assuming there's enough liquidity. Although I think the under is the side with value. But we can see how much liquidity is on the over. Like 280. So you could hedge out of like part of it. If anyone wants to arb, or actually FanDuel moved the line. Never mind. Dude, so this fucking Chris Dunn bet. Yo. Whoa. Damn. Yo, so now, again, the reason I'm going to double down on this Clippers Nuggets over in first quarter points. FanDuel's going to limit me to a max of 150. So again, FanDuel is crossed with Pinnacle. You can get the over. Shoot, I'm way too zoomed in. Sorry. You can get the over at plus 100. You can get the under at plus 101. Both the over and the under are plus money. So one of these two bets has to be profitable. Again, because if you were in Canada and had access to Pinnacle, you could bet the over on FanDuel, the under on Novig. You're getting plus money, underdog odds on both plays, and guarantee a profit. So this total has really ripped towards the over. I know I gave it out on Rebet. Are you fucking kidding me? They just moved it to plus 102. So now they bumped it in my face to plus 102, and I would absolutely bet this. So this is the first quarter over. First quarter over in the Clippers Nuggets game. Anyways. So I doubled down on FanDuel. I mean, I got plus 100, which I obviously think is solid. I bet it. But maybe you could get a slightly better price at plus 102 right now where it's available. I just can't bet any more on it. But anyways, let's see what we got. So we did a PrizePicks slip. Let's see if there's anything else on Underdog. Ontario only in Canada has access to FanDuel. I think so. I think it's only Canada. So is there anything else we like? Let's see. Underdog, Rebet, I don't know. Jokic under 22.5 RAs. I already have a play on Jokic on Underdog. But regardless, if you wanted to fade Jokic, his under is heavily favored on every book. So that actually seems pretty solid on Underdog, but whatever. I'm thinking. What is going on? Whew. Yo, so this actually looks really solid. I'm already on the over in the Avs game. Sorry, this has been it's not that much FanDuel. But anyways, over 6.5 goals. Again, the reason I like to find a lot of my bets on the ARB tool is, again, I know I've said this in other streams, but I do think it's important because I find a shit ton of my bets from here, is whenever two books are crossed, arbitrage, as in you can bet the over on one book, the opposite outcome, the under on a different book, and guarantee a profit. We know one of these two bets, either the over at plus 180 or the under at minus 179, one of those two plays has to be plus EV because, again, you could bet both and guarantee a risk-free profit. So one of these two bets has to be profitable. And if you look at all these other books posting odds, especially the sharper ones like Pinnacle, it's pretty clear there's, you know, an edge betting this on FanDuel at plus 180. What did you do for Clippers Nuggets? I'm personally on the Nuggets, but the line moved against me, so tail at your own risk. I bet them at minus 116, and lines have just kind of, which was really solid value at the time. All other books had them like minus 130. But lines have just kind of like drifted just very slightly, but towards the Clippers. I don't know. Maybe it's because Trent bet on them. Many of you may know there's this guy named Trent on Twitter. He's known to be a really sharp bettor. So when he gives out a pick, a lot of times lines will move towards the team. So he bet on the Clippers. So I don't know. Maybe like everyone started betting on the Clippers. I'm joking if you can't tell. But I don't know. Line slightly drifted towards the Clippers. Anything else we are in love with? I mean, not really. We could build a FanDuel parlay. Fliff doesn't have much. I mean, these plays just aren't that high of an edge. So let me do FanDuel. I'm going to do a FanDuel play. LOL, someone would have believed you. The Braves game is delayed, Alex. Dude, I feel like all of these games are getting delayed today. So many of these games have been delayed. I think I already played the sleeper. Yeah, I already played the sleeper discounts in the last stream. So I took Batum under 1.5 assists with the on sleeper. They have a pretty good discount on Jokic. Dude, so if you want to ride Jamal Murray, I mean, minus 132 on his PRA, over 31.5. It looks like Novig just adjusted. Let's see. What do you got for me, bro? Again, like, you know, I follow a super data-driven approach to my sports betting. Like, I don't wake up and particularly know exactly what I'm going to bet. A lot boils down to where's the value. I'm never going to give out a bet if it's, you know, a shit bet. I'm never going to give out a bet if it's a shit bet. Sometimes there's more ARB, sometimes there's more PrizePicks value, I don't know. Sometimes there's no PrizePicks value. So, let's see. Maybe we'll do a FanDuel parlay. Maybe let's do a FanDuel parlay. But what I wanted to do quick is just arbitrage bet this. 281 risk-free profit. So again, arbitrage, sometimes there's not a lot of ARB, sometimes there is. It obviously depends where you're located, what books you have access to, but in this scenario, like Novig and Rebet, which are two sports books, Novig and ProfitX are two betting exchanges. You'll never get limited, nothing like that. But here, you know, they're so out of sync because all these books try to set their own odds where I can bet the over on Novig, the under on Rebet, guarantee a profit. So I just took the free money. But, and here's one between, it looks like Fliff and ProfitX. Dude, what is going on in this game? Alex, how often did you withdraw when you started arbitrage betting? Pretty frequently. I mean, I hear a lot of people be like, oh, if you withdraw money, you know, you're going to get limited or something. I think just being like Underdog Fantasy, I never arbitrage bet. You can't arbitrage bet. It's a parlay only sports book. Whoa. So I got this plus 144 for 250. So assuming Rebet takes 341. Where is Derek Jones? Bang. There we go. So pretty easy, risk-free, 1872. Again, you just got to be fast, especially on these exchanges, because there's only a certain amount of liquidity. So on Novig, I would have bet more. Well, actually, now it's still at plus 140. No, now it's down to plus 124. But anyways, 250 was the max liquidity. It's peer-to-peer. I'm just taking out what other people are offering. 250 was the max I could bet on the under. So I just plug that into the calculator, follow it, bet 341.28 on Rebet. Second the game ends, 3 hours from now, I'm making 1872 risk-free. And there's like a bunch more, but also I know just watching me make risk-free money maybe is boring, but let's see what else there is. Let's see if we can get something in for, dude, maybe for tomorrow. We got game 1 of Pacers-Cavs. Dude, the Cavs are, I don't know. I think that series could be competitive, but dude, the Cavs are huge favorites. Huge favorites tomorrow. Huge favorites tomorrow. But anyways, Obi Toppin, 4+ rebounds. 82-72 is the max they're going to take. So I'm a big believer. Like some days I only place 5 bets. Some days I place a lot more bets. It kind of depends. What state am I in? How many books do I have access to? Are there good promos? How much value is there in the market? Because sometimes there's just like not a ton of good shit out there. Sometimes there is. But anyways, this is Obi Toppin, 4+ rebounds, plus 136. Looks pretty solid. Bet Online, a really sharp book, plus 114. No other book offering above plus 120. But what I wanted to do is, damn, dude, my eyes. I already bet on Neesmith. I mean, it still looks solid, plus 172, but I actually gave this out in the Discord earlier at plus 200. So, like, you know, anything we're in love with, I mean, there is pretty solid value on Cavs first half money line for tomorrow. Let's see. What do you guys think? Game 1, Cavs, Pacers. Again, minus 300. So the market is implying they're, 3-1 betting favorites. 3-1 betting favorites. So the market's basically saying whatever, they're 75% to win. Stream presented by FanDuel. We did PrizePicks, we did Underdog, we've done Rebet, we've done Novig. Tons of different books. If you guys don't want FanDuel, we don't have to do FanDuel. But is there anything we're in love with for tonight? Let's see. So FanDuel actually has a promo. I said this earlier. Porzingis over 7.5 rebounds. That looks really solid. I mean, again, it's a little annoying. The game's obviously a few days away. What I was going to say about FanDuel 2, that's pretty Where do they have Toppin's regular line? So they have Toppin's regular line at 2.5. Never mind. What do we like? FanDuel has a promo currently where you bet. So all of these picks seem kind of solid. I mean, but whatever. I'm not going to run this because I already used the promo. They have a promo where you create a 3-leg parlay. It doesn't matter what sport. You could do hockey. I mean, whatever. 3-leg parlay, they're going to give you... Dude, where is hockey? Why don't I see hockey? I may have filtered it out. No, I didn't filter it out. Weird. League. NHL. Damn, I did filter out hockey. Fuck. So I did filter out hockey. That's why I'm not seeing hockey. But they have a promo. You can use it on any sport. But basically, they give you a profit boost of 25%. In every leg you add, you get an additional 10%. Again, if you're betting on parlays, if every bet in your parlay is plus EV, then your parlay is going to be plus EV. That's how that works. But regardless, dude, in this over, I mean, I already bet the over earlier, so they're not going to give me much. It's only a max of 10. I already bet the over 7.5 earlier. But you could throw in like the over 7.5. I don't know. Give me 1 sec. Damn, we have 10 minutes till the game starts. I'm literally, if you can't tell, I'm kind of just killing time until the game starts. But not that I don't think these picks are obviously. I love all these picks. So I'm going to run this, well, if they take it. This is just a FanDuel parlay again. It would work for the promo right here. Alex hated that comment. I did hate that comment. Stream is not presented by FanDuel. I wish they paid me, but unfortunately they don't. Yo, so this Derek Jones, I mean, if you use Rebet and you use Fliff, holy moly. There is just a lot of fucking arbs right now. Again, what's tough about sports betting, arbitrage betting, EV betting, is we really never know. So, wow. How much liquidity is available? 101.39. So on these exchanges, you can see in the top left corner, and somebody else already took it out. So somebody just bet this arbitrage bet. They took out all the plus 175. So now it's down to plus 155, which obviously this is still, you know, you could still make a risk-free profit at plus 155, but like there's $54 in liquidity. Obviously it's hard when streaming because other people on the stream are probably betting the exact same thing. But anyways, enjoy the game. Oh shit, maybe this play on Derek Jones. Where is Derek Jones points? Under 8.5 points. Over 8.5 points. How much liquidity? So this actually has a shit ton of liquidity. Not a shit ton, but I mean a few $1,000. So if I go to player points and we go to Derek Jones, bro, what? Where did he go? So they may have just removed his points line, or maybe it's here. Player points. No, I don't know. I no longer see him under player points. So they probably just removed it, which obviously is a little bit annoying, but whatever. Whatever. Dude, what the fuck is going on? So again, one of these two bets, which is why I like arbing, is you can always decide which side of the arb you think is plus EV and just run that side. So in this case, So in this case, it seems like Westbrook under 1.5 threes. This is the side with value. It's crossed with no vig. So one of these two bets, by definition, has to be profitable. So I can bet the under on here. And if you look at the rest of the market, like FanDuel, Bovada, Pinnacle, all of these sports books have Russ heavily favored to go under. So you could just run the under, because again, one of these picks has to be profitable. I don't even know if there's going to be enough liquidity on Novig, but it's pretty clear the values on the rebet side. So where is Westbrook? So now he's down to plus 122. They still have his under at minus 158. You can see FanDuel has this under at minus 162. I don't know. In my opinion, very clear value on the rebet side, even though the ARB, I guess disappeared. I thought it was there. Oh, it is still there. So there's only 347.60 in liquidity. So for example, I could hedge out of part of it. Or even on rebet, what I've noticed is you need to be creative with these books. Is what I can do is I can just nope, they're not going to let me rebet it actually. So they're only going to give me 289.65 more. So regardless, I have, $1,300 on the under. So most of my exposure is to the under. I hedged out of a little bit of it, So $456, basically I'm just taking the risk-free $12. And then I have $800 of exposure on Westbrook's under 1.5, which I think is the plus EV play to begin with. Dude, what is FanDuel doing? Look at this play on Flattery. I'm running this as a straight bet. This is FanDuel. Over 7.5 for Flattery, plus 180. It's crossed with Fliff. Look how fast they move that. Holy moly. Dude, they just bumped that from plus 180 to plus 136, which you can see OddsJam got rid of it. So sometimes it's just they just moved. So sometimes minus 113, they adjusted to minus 150. So it seems like FanDuel glitched out and was just fucking up. Here, Pinnacle's crossed with rebet. We know either the over or the under is profitable. Again, we ran the under. In this case with Jokic, I don't really think it's clear, right? Because some of these books, even though exchanges are pretty sharp relative to regular books, it's not really clear which side has value. So I'd rather, personally, just arb it, because again, looking at the market, we know, and they just adjusted to plus 100, so now it's gone anyways. Anyways, here was the FanDuel parlay. Take a screenshot again if you want to run it, but the game's about to start. Enjoy the game. I'm going to drink my... Yo, what's up, Alvec? What's up, bro? You just subscribed on Twitch, and I appreciate that, but I was just calling it a day for this stream. I think, unless anything just popped up. Let's see. Let's fucking see. So we did some FanDuel. Fliff was pretty dry. Honestly, do we have enough time? I wouldn't mind doing another underdog slip. So we have Derek Jones under 8.5 points. Again, underdog fixed payouts. Take his over, under, same payout. Look at all these books. They have his under as a massive fucking favorite. Minus 160, minus 200 on Novig. But what I wanted to do is... Yeah, so this play on Derek Jones is great. But what do we want to pair with it? So we have pod, under, and PAs. And then we have OG and an OB under 16.5 points. So here's an Underdog Fantasy 3-pick entry. You can see every other book has his line. All the other DFS sites, again, I make sure every fucking pick I include in my slip has an edge. All these other books have his line at 15.5. Sports books. All the other DFS sites have his line at 16. Every pick has an edge, slight edge. You're going to be profitable on Underdog long term. Yo, bro, I lost my Underdog streak at pick 9 with Malik Beasley. Damn. I'm sorry, dude. Underdog streaks is hard. I mean, they literally took it away from me, which is pretty annoying because, so this exceeds my daily limit, which is bullshit, so I'm only going to be able to put 20 on it. Anyways, enjoy the game, boys. I'm going to call it. No, I'm not. Actually, I lied. I'm going to bet more on this over first quarter. Crossed market. Again, the reason you can camp on the ARB tool, over 52.5 plus 124, takes 2 seconds to lock in these bets. You know, when I was a quant trader, I placed, like, your algorithms place tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of trades a day. Every trade has a small edge. You let the math work itself out. That's how all these hedge funds get rich. And it's the same thing here, like crossed market. FanDuel is crossed with Pinnacle, one of the sharpest books. No other books offering above plus 110. We know one of these two bets, either the over or the under, has to be profitable. Pinnacle continues to rip. Now they just moved to minus 120. So the over just keeps getting ripped harder and harder. A lot of big action starts to come in close to the close. Damn, bro. Chris Dunn. Anyways, whatever. Why does it say? Dude, it's weird on Rebet. Dude, someone is trying to fade the shit out of Chris Dunn. Whoa. So I played the over at plus 171 for $145. So again, risk-free 556. It'll take me hopefully 12 seconds to lock it in. Second the game's over, one of these bets will win, one of these bets will lose. But just locked it in on Rebet. Because these two books have such different prices, such different odds, you know, one bet wins, one bet loses, I make a risk-free profit. Pretty simple. And there's hundreds of sports books. I don't even talk about most of these books. I mean, there's fucking hundreds. And these are, you know, in most of these books I'm pretty heavily limited on. Not all of them. I mean, you may have bet worse betting limits on some of them. Yo, Jack Flattery's over looks great on Underdog. I assume PrizePicks has his line higher at 7. If you have an Underdog streak going, you could run Flattery's over 6.5 Ks. You can see PrizePicks has his line higher in the first place at 7. All these books have Jack Flattery's over. Heavily favored. Minus 160. Tight market. Only 30 cents of juice. Alex, did you invest in GameStop? Can we do Underdog Live? Nah, I want to watch the game. Anyway, see you guys. No Underdog Live today.